The silence broke with a hiss of releasing pressure. Taewan's eyes opened to darkness, then to dim red emergency lights flickering above him. His cryopod was opening, and cold air rushed into his lungs like knives. Every muscle in his body screamed as he tried to move. 300 years of sleep had turned his limbs to stone. The automated voice echoed through the chamber in a language that felt both familiar and strange to his foggy mind. Revival protocol complete. Welcome back, Engineer Taewan. The surface is ready. Humanity may return. He forced himself to sit up, his vision swimming. Around him, other pods were opening. Shapes moved in the darkness. Other survivors gasping and coughing as they woke to a world they no longer knew. Taewan recognized some faces from the old days, before everything fell apart. Jisoo was 3 pods to his left, her hand gripping the edge of her chamber as she pulled herself up. Hyunwoo was already on his feet somehow, steadying himself against the wall. Yuna sat in her pod, tears streaming down her face as she stared at her hands. They had all gone to sleep when the world was burning. The last war had torn everything apart. Nuclear fire had consumed the cities. Biological weapons had poisoned the oceans. Humanity's enemies had come from within, different factions tearing at each other until nothing remained but ash and regret. The last seed protocol was supposed to be humanity's final hope, a way to survive until Earth could heal itself. Taewan stumbled out of his pod and fell to his knees. The floor was cold metal, unchanged by the centuries. His body remembered how to move, slowly, painfully. He looked around the vast underground chamber. Rows upon rows of cryopods stretched into the darkness, most still sealed, their occupants waiting for the next wake-up call. Only 50 pods had opened this time. The first wave, the ones who would decide if humanity had a future. Taewan? Jisoo's voice was rough, barely more than a whisper. She crawled toward him, her legs not yet strong enough to stand. Did it work? Are we really awake? He nodded, not trusting his voice. Around them, others were beginning to find their strength. Medical drones descended from the ceiling, scanning each survivor, administering shots that would help their bodies recover from the long sleep. Taewan felt the injection in his arm, and within minutes, warmth began spreading through his limbs. Hyunwoo was the first to reach the main console. His fingers moved across the controls with practiced ease, pulling up data that had been collecting for 3 centuries. His face went pale as he read the reports. Everyone, you need to see this. They gathered around him, supporting each other as they walked. The screen showed Earth from space, a view captured by satellites that had somehow survived the centuries. The planet was scarred, yes, but it was alive. Green was returning to the continents. The oceans were blue again, not the sick brown they had been when the survivors went to sleep. The automated systems had done their job. Earth had healed, but that was not what made Hyunwoo's hands shake. He pulled up another file, this one showing intercepted communications from space. Alien languages scrolled across the screen, translated by computers that had been listening to the galaxy for 300 years. They think we're dead, Yuna said, leaning close to the screen. She had recovered faster than the others, her mind already racing ahead. The entire galaxy believes humanity is extinct. Taewan read the translations with growing disbelief. The war that destroyed Earth had been visible across the stars. The aliens had watched humanity tear itself apart, and when the signals from Earth went silent, they had declared the human race extinct. Earth was now listed in galactic records as a tomb world, a dead place where a primitive species had destroyed itself. Warning beacons orbited the planet, keeping everyone away from what they thought was a radioactive graveyard. Look at this, Hyunwoo said, his voice tight with anger. He pulled up more files, these ones showing what had happened to humanity's colony worlds. Before the war, humans had settled on 12 planets across nearby star systems. Those colonies had been cut off when Earth fell silent, left to fend for themselves. Most had been weak, barely established. The galaxy had not been kind to them. The screen showed colony after colony, now occupied by alien species. The Velkari had taken New Harmony. The Chitresh controlled Haven's Gate. even distant redemption. The furthest human settlement now flew the flag of the Drethian Empire. The aliens had simply moved in and claimed what humanity had left behind. With Earth silent and the colonies defenseless, no one had stopped them. 300 years, Jisoo whispered. We've been asleep for 300 years, and they've stolen everything. A new alert flashed on the screen. Yuna pulled it up, her eyes widening as she read. There's a fleet coming, Velkari Trade Consortium. They're planning to strip mine Earth. The message says the planet is abandoned salvage, free for the taking. They'll be here in 6 months. The room fell silent. Taewon felt rage building in his chest, hot and fierce. They had survived the end of their world. They had slept through centuries, trusting that Earth would heal, that humanity would have another chance. And now aliens were coming to pick through the bones of their planet like scavengers. We need to wake the others. Daijung's voice came from the back of the room. The old soldier had been quiet until now, but his words carried weight. He was older than most of them, had fought in the wars before the final collapse. We need soldiers, engineers, everyone. We need time, Taewon said, his mind already working through the problems. 6 months isn't enough to rebuild civilization. We need to be smart about this. Yuna was already at another console, her fingers dancing across holographic displays. The defense network, Prometheus. It's still active, at least partially. That's why the aliens haven't detected any energy signatures from Earth. The AI has been hiding us, running on minimal power for 3 centuries. Can we use it? Yunwoo asked. Maybe, Yuna said. If I can bring it fully online, if the systems haven't degraded too much. But Prometheus was built for war. If we wake it up completely, we need to be ready for what that means. Taewon looked around at the small group of survivors. 50 people barely awake, facing a galaxy that thought they were dead. 6 months until an alien fleet arrived to tear apart their world. It should have been impossible. It should have been hopeless. But he saw determination in their eyes. Jisoo was already planning. He could see it in the way she studied the data. Hyunwoo's jaw was set, his military training taking over. Yuna's fear had transformed into focus. Daejung looked ready for another war. We start waking people tomorrow, Taewon said. Small groups. Specialists we need. Engineers first, then agricultural experts, then soldiers. We have 6 months to do the impossible. We need to make Earth ready to defend itself. And then? Jisoo asked. Taewon looked at the image of Earth on the screen, beautiful and wounded and alive. Then we show the galaxy that humanity is not extinct. We show them that Earth's engines can still roar. And we take back what's ours. The others nodded. The first day of humanity's return had begun, and the galaxy had no idea what was coming. The underground city hummed with life for the first time in 3 centuries. Taewon walked through corridors that had been silent for longer than anyone should sleep, listening to the sound of footsteps and voices echoing off metal walls. Each day brought more survivors out of their frozen sleep. The number had grown from 50 to 500, then to 5,000. Each person who woke brought new skills, new hope, and new problems. The cafeteria was crowded when he arrived. People sat at long tables, eating food synthesized from proteins and nutrients that automated systems had been producing in the dark for hundreds of years. The taste was terrible, but it was food and no one complained. They were alive, and that was miracle enough. Daejung found him first. The old soldier looked better than he had a month ago, his body recovering from the long sleep. But his eyes carried the weight of what they faced. We need to talk about the defense situation, he said without greeting. I've been reviewing the old military installations. Most are still intact, but we don't have enough people to man them. How many can we actually use? Taewon asked, following Daejung to a quieter corner. The railgun networks are functional, 70% operational across North America, Asia, and Europe. The satellite grid is mostly dead, but Yuna thinks she can bring some of it back online. The real problem is the fleet. Daejung pulled up a holographic display from his wrist device. We had ships, dozens of them hidden in asteroid bases around the solar system, but they've been dormant for 3 centuries. Even if we can get them started, who's going to fly them? Taewon studied the list of ships. Destroyers, frigates and 3 massive dreadnoughts that had been humanity's pride before the fall, ships built for war against enemies they had never expected to fight again. Wake up the pilots. Anyone with combat training gets priority revival. Already started, Daejung said. Kyung-ho is organizing them. You remember him? Colonial Marine. Fought in the resource wars. Taewon remembered. Kyung-ho had been one of the best, a soldier who could adapt to anything. If anyone could turn sleeping civilians into a fighting force in 6 months, it was him. What about the factories? That's the strange part, Daejung said, his expression troubled. The lunar manufacturing facilities are still running. Not at full capacity, but they're producing. Same with the Mars installations, automated systems that just kept going, following the last orders they received 300 years ago. Sumin joined them, her face smudged with grease from working on the fusion reactors. We have power, she announced. Full power across 3 continental grids. The reactors are old, but they're solid. Whoever designed them built them to last forever. She grabbed a cup of synthetic coffee and made a face at the taste. We can support a population of 10 million if we need to. The infrastructure is all there, just sleeping like we were. 10 million, Taewon repeated. We have 5,000 awake. So we wake more, Sumin said. The pods are stable. We can increase the revival rate. 20,000 a week if we push it. Yuna appeared, moving through the crowd like a ghost. She had barely slept since waking, spending every hour with Prometheus, the AI defense network that had protected Earth in silence for so long. I need to show you something, she said. All of you. Now. They followed her to the command center, a vast room filled with screens and holographic displays. Prometheus manifested as a blue sphere of light floating above the central console, its voice calm and artificial. Good morning, Engineer Taewon. Commander Daejung. Specialist Sumin. Prometheus has been busy, Yuna said. She looked exhausted but excited. Show them what you showed me. The AI complied. The displays lit up with images from across the solar system. Satellites that should have been dead were active, their cameras and sensors feeding data to Prometheus. Automated defense platforms hung in orbit, their weapon systems in standby mode but functional. On the moon, factories churned out components for machines no one had ordered in 3 centuries. I have maintained minimal operational status for 312 years, Prometheus said. My primary directive was to protect Earth and preserve humanity's capability to defend itself. I have succeeded. It's been hiding us, Yuna explained. Every time an alien ship came close, Prometheus would mask our energy signatures, make us look like a dead world. It's been running a deception program for 3 centuries, making sure no one looked too closely at Earth. Taewon felt his breath catch. They had not been as alone as they thought. What else can you do? He asked the AI. I can coordinate planetary defense. I can manage production facilities across the solar system. I can upgrade outdated systems with new protocols. However, I cannot make strategic decisions. That requires human judgment. I await your orders. The dreadnoughts, Daejung said. Can you activate them? The vessels Indomitable, Defiant, and Resurgent are in stable condition in Asteroid Base 17. I can begin activation procedures, but they will require human crews. Each ship needs a minimum of 300 personnel. 300 people per ship. 900 total. They barely had 5,000 awake, and most of them were not soldiers. Taewon looked at Daejung. Can Kyung-ho train them? He'll have to, Daejung said grimly. We don't have a choice. Jisoo rushed into the command center, her tablet clutched in her hands. We have a problem. A big one. She threw the data onto the main screen. There's a ship. Small scout class. It's at the edge of the solar system near Jupiter. It's been there for 6 hours just scanning. Identification? Hyunwoo demanded. Chitresh vessel, Prometheus answered. Insectoid species. They maintain trade routes through this sector. The ship's scanning pattern suggests they have detected anomalous activity from Earth's moon. The room fell silent. Their time had run out. The Valkyrie mining fleet was still months away, but this scout ship was here now. If it reported back about the lunar factories, about the signs of activity, the entire galaxy would know humanity had survived. Can we hide from it? Taewon asked. Negative, Prometheus said. The Chitresh sensors are more advanced than anticipated. They have already detected power signatures from Lunar Manufacturing Complex 7. Concealment is no longer possible. Then we destroy it, Daejung said. 1 ship. We can take it out before it reports back. No, Taewon said. The idea was forming in his mind, dangerous but necessary. We don't destroy it. We show them. We let them see. Why, are you insane? Hyunwoo stared at him. If they report back, they will report back no matter what we do, Taewon interrupted. If we destroy them, the Kitresh will send more ships to investigate. If we hide, they'll keep looking until they find us. But if we control the message, if we decide what they see and what they tell the galaxy, we have a chance. Yuna was nodding slowly. A demonstration. Show them enough to scare them, but not enough to reveal our full capabilities. Exactly, Taewon said. Prometheus, can you disable that ship without destroying it? Affirmative. Railgun Platform 17 has line of sight. I can execute a precision strike to disable their engines and communication array. The crew will survive. Do it, Taewon ordered. Then bring them down. We're going to have visitors. The others looked at him like he had lost his mind, but Daejung smiled. It was not a pleasant smile. You want to send a message? I want to let them know humanity is back, Taewon said. And I want every species in the galaxy to hear it from a Kitresh captain who saw it with his own eyes. Prometheus did not hesitate. Somewhere in orbit, a railgun platform that had waited 3 centuries for a target came to life. The shot was perfect. A tungsten rod fired at impossible speed across millions of kilometers of space. It struck the Kitresh scout ship's engine section and the vessel went dark, dead in space but intact. Deploying recovery drones, Prometheus announced. The vessel will be brought to Landing Zone 1 in New Seoul. Estimated time, 4 hours. Taewon looked around at his people. At Daejung, ready for war. At Yuna, already planning how to interface with the alien ship's computers. At Sumin, calculating what resources they would need. At Jisoo and Hyunwoo, scared but determined. Get Kyungho, he said, and wake up everyone who speaks Kitresh. We have 4 hours to prepare for first contact. The galaxy is about to learn that Earth is not dead. Let's make sure they never forget it. The Kitresh ship touched down in what used to be New Seoul's main landing port. Taewon watched from the observation tower as recovery drones carefully lowered the alien vessel onto the cracked concrete. The ship was small, built for speed and reconnaissance, its hull painted with markings he did not recognize. Through the reinforced windows, he could see movement inside. The crew was alive. Kyungho stood beside him, rifle ready but pointed at the ground. The soldier had aged well during cryosleep. Or perhaps war had already made him old before they all went to sleep. Behind them, 20 newly awakened soldiers formed a perimeter. They were nervous, their hands tight on weapons that had not been fired in 3 centuries, but they were ready. This is insane, Kyungho muttered. We should have just blown them out of the sky. And then what? Taewon asked. Hide forever? Wait for them to find us eventually? No, we control this. We show them what we want them to see. The ship's hatch opened with a hiss of equalizing pressure. 4 figures emerged, their exoskeletons glinting in the sunlight that filtered through Earth's healing atmosphere. Kitresh were insectoid, their bodies covered in blue-green chitin, multiple limbs moving with unsettling grace. The leader wore what looked like a captain's insignia on its thorax. Yuna's voice crackled in Taewon's earpiece. I'm reading their biosigns. They're terrified, heart rates elevated, stress hormones through the roof. They think we're going to kill them. Let them think that for a moment longer, Taewon said. He stepped out of the tower, walking across the landing pad with Kyungho at his side. The soldiers followed, forming a loose semicircle around the alien ship. The Kitresh captain's translator device activated, its voice mechanical and clicking. I am Captain Rethis of the trade vessel Gentle Winds. We mean no harm. We were merely conducting routine surveys. Please, we did not know this world was inhabited. Taewon stopped 10 meters from the aliens. He let the silence stretch. Let them see the ruined city behind him, the defense platforms visible in the sky above, the drones circling overhead. Let them understand what they had stumbled upon. You are on Earth, Taewon said finally. You are standing on humanity's homeworld, a world your people declared extinct 300 years ago. Rethis's compound eyes widened. His translator struggled to process what must have been shocked, clicking and chittering. Impossible. The humans are dead. The war, the destruction. We were not destroyed, Taewon interrupted. We were sleeping, waiting for our world to heal, and now we are awake. He gestured to the city around them. Welcome to New Seoul, Captain Rethis. You are the first alien to stand on Earth since humanity's fall. How does it feel to discover you were wrong about us? One of the other Chitresh made a sound like grinding gears. Rethus silenced it with a sharp gesture. This is not possible. We monitored Earth, the radiation, the biological contamination, nothing could survive. We built well, Taewan said. Deep underground, our cities waited. Our people slept. Our machines kept working. And when Earth was ready, we came back. He nodded to Kyung-ho, who raised his rifle, not aiming but making it visible. Your people took our colony worlds, 12 planets that belonged to humanity. You thought we were dead, so you took what was ours. The Galactic Council's salvage laws, Rethus began. I do not care about the Council's laws, Taewan said. I care that my species was declared extinct and our worlds were stolen. I care that a Velkari mining fleet is coming here in 5 months to strip Earth for resources. I care that you and every other species in the galaxy thought humanity was finished. He stepped closer to Rethus. The Chitresh captain backed away, his multiple limbs trembling. But we are not finished. We are not extinct. And you are going to deliver a message for me. A message? Rethus's voice came out as a squeak. To the Galactic Council, to every species that took what was ours. Tell them Earth lives. Tell them humanity has returned. Tell them we have not forgotten and we have not forgiven. Taewan smiled, and it was not kind. Tell them to return what they stole or we will come and take it back. Rethus looked around at the soldiers, at the ruined but rebuilding city, at the defense platforms in the sky. They will not believe me. They will think I am lying or mad. Humans are extinct. Everyone knows this. Yuna's voice came through the earpiece again. Taewan, we have movement. The Velkari mining fleet, they've changed course. They're accelerating. They'll be here in 5 weeks, not 5 months. Taewan kept his expression calm, but inside he cursed. Someone had talked. Someone had sent word that Earth showed signs of activity. The Velkari were coming early, trying to claim the planet before anyone else could. 5 weeks. They had 5 weeks instead of 5 months. Prometheus, Taewan said quietly. Show our guest what we have. The AI responded instantly. Above them, the sky lit up with light. Defense satellites activated, their positions marked by brief flares. On the horizon, railgun platforms rose from concealed positions, their barrels tracking across the sky. And from beyond the moon, 3 massive shapes began to move, the dreadnoughts awakening from centuries of sleep. Rethus made a sound no translator could interpret. His crew clustered behind him, their fear palpable. You have a fleet. After 300 years, you have a functioning military fleet. We have more than that, Taewan said. We have factories that never stopped producing. We have weapons that made empires tremble. We have the will of a species that refused to die. He pointed at Rethus's ship. Your vessel is damaged but repairable. We will fix it. You will take your crew and leave Earth, and you will tell everyone what you saw here. The Council will mobilize, Rethus said. If they believe humanity is a threat, let them mobilize, Taewan said. Let them come. Let them see what happens when you declare a species extinct and steal their worlds. Let them understand that humanity does not forgive. We do not forget, and we do not die quietly. He turned to Kyung-ho. Repair their ship. Give them full sensor logs of our defenses. I want them to see everything. I want them to take that information home. You want them to know how strong we are, Kyung-ho said. I want them to know how angry we are, Taewan corrected. Fear is useful. Respect is better, but rage, properly directed, that ends wars before they begin. Over the next 2 days, human engineers worked on the Chitresh ship under Prometheus's guidance. Rethus and his crew were treated as guests, not prisoners. They were shown the underground cities, the factories, the awakening population. They were given food and water. They were allowed to record everything. Jisoo argued against it. You are showing them too much. You are giving them intelligence that could be used against us. I am showing them enough, Taewan replied. Enough to make them think twice. Enough to make the galaxy pause. We cannot fight everyone at once. We need time to wake our people, to rebuild our strength. Fear buys us that time. On the 3rd day, Rethus approached Taewan in the command center. The Chitresh captain looked different now, less terrified and more thoughtful. I have a question, if I may. Ask, why let us live? Why not destroy us and maintain your secret longer? Taewan considered his answer carefully. Because secrets do not last. Because fear without knowledge is useless. Because I want the galaxy to know what happens when you presume to judge a species dead. You will carry our message, Captain Rethus. You will tell them what you saw. And they will understand that humanity's silence was not death. It was preparation. Rethus's compound eyes reflected the light from the displays. They will come. When they hear this, when they believe it, they will come in force. Let them come, Taewon said. We will be ready. The Chitresh ship launched at dawn. Taewon watched it rise into the sky, carrying its crew and its message. Around him, the command center buzzed with activity. Sumin was coordinating power distribution across 6 continents. Hyunwoo was organizing the wake-up schedule, bringing thousands more out of cryosleep each day. Daejung was drilling soldiers, preparing for the battle that was coming. Yuna appeared at his side. The Valkyrie will be here in 4 weeks now. They are pushing their engines hard. Then we push harder, Taewon said. How many people can we have awake by then? 200,000 if we maximize revival. Maybe more. Do it. Wake everyone we can. Wake the soldiers first, then the engineers, then everyone else. He looked at the image of Earth on the main screen, beautiful and scarred and alive. 4 weeks to prepare for war. 4 weeks to show the galaxy that humanity's engines can still roar. And if we are not ready? Yuna asked quietly. Taewon smiled. Then we make them think we are. Captain Rethus is carrying our message. By the time the Valkyrie arrive, every species in the galaxy will know Earth lives. They will know humanity survived. That knowledge is a weapon too. Let's make sure we know how to use it. The message spread across the galaxy like fire through dry grass. Captain Rethus had barely docked at the Chitresh homeworld before his report was everywhere. News networks broadcast it. Government channels analyzed it. Private channels whispered it. Humanity was alive. Earth had returned. The extinct species was not extinct at all. Taewon watched the galactic reaction from Earth's restored communication center. Yuna had managed to tap into the interstellar network, giving them access to news feeds from a dozen different species. The translations scrolled across screens and the pattern was clear. The galaxy was in chaos. The Valkyrie markets crashed, Sumin reported, reading financial data. Companies that held salvage rights to human worlds lost half their value in an hour. The consortium is denying everything, saying the reports are fake. They know it's real, Daejung said grimly. He pointed at another screen showing military movements. Look at this. The Drethian Empire is mobilizing 3 fleet groups near Redemption. The Valkyrie have ships moving toward New Harmony. Every species that took a human world is fortifying it. They think we are coming for them, Hyunwoo observed. We are, Taewon said. Eventually. But not yet. First, we need to survive what's coming. Jisoo burst into the room, her tablet showing a live feed. The Galactic Council is in emergency session. They are arguing about what to do. Half of them think humanity should be welcomed back. The other half thinks we are a threat that needs to be eliminated. On the screen, alien delegates argued in a chamber that looked like it belonged in a palace. The translator AI struggled with some of the languages, but the intent was clear. Some species remembered humanity as partners and allies. Others remembered humanity as dangerous, aggressive, prone to violence. The war that destroyed Earth had been visible across the stars, and it had scared many species who thought humans might one day turn that violence outward. What about our legal status? Taewon asked. Can they make us citizens again? That's the problem, Jisoo said. Legally, humanity is extinct. Our council seat was dissolved. Our treaties are void. Earth is classified as a dead world, which means it's open to salvage under galactic law. To change that, we need a majority vote in the council, and we need a recognized government to represent us. We have a government, Daejung said. We have you, Taewon. We have leadership. I am an engineer who woke up from a 300-year nap, Taewon said. I am not a government. I am not a diplomat. I'm just trying to keep our species alive. Then we need someone who can be those things, Hyunwoo said. Someone who can speak to the galaxy, make them see us as people instead of a threat. Yuna was already searching through the database of awakened survivors. Bora, she said. She was an ambassador before the fall. Junior level, but she served on the council. She knows how they think, how they operate. If anyone can navigate galactic politics, it's her. They found Bora in one of the residential sectors teaching children who had recently been awakened. She was older than Taewon remembered, but then again they had all aged during cryosleep in ways that did not show. Her eyes still held the sharp intelligence he associated with diplomats. When they explained what they needed, Bora laughed. It was not a happy sound. You want me to convince the galaxy that humanity deserves a second chance? The same humanity that nearly destroyed itself? The same species that every other civilization watched commit suicide? Yes, Taewon said simply. Bo-Ra stopped laughing. She studied his face, then looked at the others. You are serious. You actually think we can do this? We have to try, Jisoo said. The alternative is war with the entire galaxy. War is coming anyway, Bo-Ra said. She walked to the window, looking out at the rebuilding city. The moment Rethys delivered that message, war became inevitable. Too many species have too much invested in the idea that we are dead. Too many have taken our worlds, our resources. They will not give them back peacefully. Then what do we do? Taewon asked. Bo-Ra turned back to them. We change the narrative. Right now, the galaxy sees us as ghosts seeking revenge. We need them to see us as survivors seeking justice. We need to remind them who we were before we fell. We need to make them see that humanity's return is not a threat but an opportunity. How? Hyunwoo demanded. We broadcast, Bo-Ra said. We tell our story. Not through the council, not through official channels. We speak directly to the people of the galaxy. We show them Earth. We show them our children waking from sleep. We show them a species that survived the impossible and came back not with hate but with hope. While preparing for war, Daejung added. While preparing for war, Bo-Ra agreed. Hope is powerful, but it needs strength behind it. We negotiate from a position that cannot be ignored. Over the next 3 weeks, Bo-Ra worked miracles. She crafted messages that went out across every public channel in the galaxy. Videos of Earth's recovery, of children playing in parks that had been dead for centuries, of families reuniting after 300 years of frozen sleep. She spoke in a dozen languages, her words translated by Prometheus into hundreds more. We did not choose extinction, she said in one broadcast. We did not surrender to death. We endured. We survived. And now we ask the galaxy a simple question. What do you do when the dead return to life? Do you fear them, or do you celebrate the miracle of their survival? The response was mixed. Some species were moved by her words. Public opinion began to shift in several systems, with protests demanding that human colony worlds be returned, but others doubled down, insisting that humanity was dangerous and should be contained. And through it all, the Valkyrie mining fleet drew closer. 3 days, Yuna announced. The Valkyrie will be here in 3 days. 45 ships, including 12 armed escorts. Taewon stood in the war room, surrounded by holographic displays showing Earth's defenses. They had done the impossible in 4 weeks. 200,000 people were awake now. The cities hummed with activity. Factories on Earth, Luna, and Mars were producing weapons and ships at full capacity. The railgun networks were fully operational. The 3 dreadnoughts floated in orbital positions, their crews trained as well as possible in the short time available. But it might not be enough. We are outgunned, Daejung said bluntly. 45 ships against 3 dreadnoughts and whatever fighters we can scramble. The math is bad. The math has always been bad, Kyung-ho said. He had 2,000 trained soldiers now, pilots and marines ready to fight. We don't need to win. We need to make them understand that fighting us costs more than they are willing to pay. Prometheus, Taewon said. Analysis. Can we win this fight? The AI was silent for a moment, running calculations that would take humans hours in microseconds. Victory is possible, but not probable. However, probability shifts significantly based on enemy morale and tactical decisions. If the Valkyrie believe they face total annihilation of their fleet, they may withdraw even from a superior position. A bluff, Hyunwoo said. You want to bluff them into retreating? Not a bluff, Taewon said. A demonstration? We show them exactly what happens when you threaten Earth. We make them understand that even if they win, the cost will destroy them. Sumin pulled up power readouts. The railguns can fire continuously for 6 hours before needing to cool. Each platform can put a projectile on target every 12 seconds. At optimal firing solutions, we can disable or destroy 15 ships in the first minute. Do it, Taewon said. But do not destroy them all. Leave them an escape route. Give them a reason to run instead of fight to the death. And if they don't run? Jisoo asked quietly. Taewon looked at each of them. His friends, his allies, the last hope of humanity. Then we show them why declaring humanity extinct was the biggest mistake the galaxy ever made. We fight and we win, because we have no other choice. The Valkyrie fleet emerged from faster-than-light travel at the edge of the solar system. Taewon watched them appear on sensors, 45 contacts spreading into formation. They were coming, and Earth's engines were roaring to meet them. The moment of truth had arrived. Humanity would either reclaim its place in the galaxy or die trying. Bora stood beside him, ready to broadcast one final message to the Velkari fleet and to the galaxy watching. "What should I tell them?" she asked. Taewan smiled. "Tell them Earth remembers. Tell them humanity has returned. And tell them they have one chance to leave peacefully. After that, we show them what 300 years of rage looks like." The Velkari fleet hung in space like a swarm of metal insects, their formation precise and confident. Trademaster Kelvin sat in his command ship's bridge, studying the sensor readings with growing confusion. Earth should have been dead, silent, empty. Instead, his screens showed active defense grids, power signatures, and something that made his 3 hearts beat faster. 3 massive warships moving to intercept. "This is impossible," his tactical officer said. The Velkari's translator made his clicking speech understandable. "Humans are extinct. This must be some kind of automated defense system, still running after centuries." Kelvin was not so sure. The formations were too precise, too deliberate. Automated systems degraded over time. These defenses moved with purpose and intelligence. "Open a channel to the planet," he ordered. "Let us see what we are dealing with." The response came immediately. A human face filled his screen, female, her expression calm but her eyes burning with intensity. "I am Bora, speaking for Earth and humanity. You are trespassing in an inhabited system. You were told this world was dead. You were lied to. Humanity lives and you are not welcome here." The bridge erupted in confused clicking. Kelvin silenced them with a gesture. "This is Trademaster Kelvin of the Velkari Consortium. We have legitimate salvage rights to this system. Galactic law." "Your salvage rights are void," Bora interrupted. "You cannot salvage what is not abandoned. Earth is inhabited. We are here, we are alive, and we are telling you to leave." Kelvin felt anger rising. He had invested everything in this venture. Ships, crews, equipment, political favors. He could not return empty-handed. "I see 3 ships and some defense platforms. We are 45 strong. You cannot hope to—" The communication cut off. For a moment, Kelvin thought it was a technical error. Then his tactical officer screamed a warning. On the sensors, Earth's defense grid came alive. Railgun platforms, dozens of them, locked onto his fleet, and they fired. Taewan watched the battle unfold from Earth's command center. Prometheus coordinated the defense with inhuman precision. Railgun rounds crossed millions of kilometers in seconds, tungsten projectiles moving at impossible speeds. The first volley hit 3 Velkari escort ships, tearing through their engines and leaving them dead in space. Second volley in 10 seconds. Prometheus announced. "Targets locked. Firing solutions optimal." "Wait," Taewan said. "Let them see what we did. Let them understand." The Velkari fleet scattered, breaking formation in panic. They had expected easy salvage, maybe some automated defenses they could brush aside. They had not expected a coordinated assault from weapons that could strike from ranges their own guns could not match. "They are moving to attack formation," Dae-jung reported from his station. "Looks like Kelvin is not ready to give up." "Then we show him what giving up looks like," Taewan said. Prometheus, second volley. "Disable, do not destroy. I want them functional enough to limp home." The railguns fired again. 3 more ships lost power, their crews scrambling to contain damage. The dreadnoughts moved forward now. Massive and ancient, their weapon systems coming online for the first time in 3 centuries. The Indomitable led the formation, with Defiant and Resurgent flanking like ancient predators stalking prey. Kyung-ho's voice crackled over the command channel. "Fighter wings are launching. 200 craft deploying from lunar bases. They will reach the Velkari fleet in 4 minutes." Kelvin watched his fleet disintegrate. 6 ships disabled, and the humans had barely begun fighting. The 3 warships approaching were larger than anything in his fleet, bristling with weapons from an era when humanity had prepared for total war. And now fighters were launching, small craft that moved with impossible agility. "Return fire," he ordered desperately. "All ships, engage those platforms." His weapons officer shook his head. "Trademaster, our effective range is half of theirs. We would have to close distance and their targeting is perfect. They will destroy us before we can shoot back." "Then close the distance," Kelvin screamed. "We cannot return to Velkari space empty-handed." "We cannot—" Another volley hit his fleet. 2 more ships went dark. His communications officer was receiving panicked calls from every vessel. captains demanding to know what they should do, crews terrified of weapons they could not fight. A new voice cut through the chaos. Male calm, speaking perfect Velkari. Trademaster Kelvin, this is Taiwan of Earth. You came to pick the bones of what you thought was a corpse. You were wrong. We are not dead. We are not defenseless. And we are not patient with those who come to steal from us, Kelvin found his voice. You cannot win. Even if you destroy this fleet, the consortium will send more. The galaxy will not allow, the galaxy will watch, Taiwan interrupted. We are broadcasting this battle on every channel. Every species is seeing what happens when you threaten Earth. Every civilization is learning that humanity did not die. We were sleeping, and we wake up angry. On Kelvin's screens he could see it was true. Public channels were carrying the battle live. The entire galaxy was watching humanity's return, watching the Velkari fleet being systematically disabled by weapons and ships that should have been dust centuries ago. You have a choice, Taiwan continued. You can retreat now, take your damaged ships and go home. Tell the consortium what you found here. Tell them Earth is defended. Tell them humanity remembers everyone who took what was ours. Or you can stay and fight, and we will show the galaxy what 300 years of rage looks like when it is finally unleashed. Kelvin looked at his fleet. 9 ships disabled, 36 still functional. But the human fighters were almost in range, and those 3 dreadnoughts were getting closer. His tactical officer was right. They could not win this. Even if they somehow destroyed the human ships, the railgun platforms would tear them apart. But there was something else. Something in Taiwan's voice that made Kelvin's decision easier. This was not just about defending Earth, this was a message. The humans wanted survivors. They wanted witnesses to carry word back to the galaxy. We withdraw, Kelvin said, hating every word. All ships disengage. Prepare for faster-than-light jump. Trademaster, the board will understand when they see the recordings, Kelvin said. We came to salvage a dead world. We found a living one, defended by weapons we cannot match. We are merchants, not warriors. This is not our fight. He opened a channel to Earth. We are leaving Taiwan of Earth, but this is not over. You say the galaxy is watching, they are, and what they see is a species that destroyed itself, now threatening everyone else. The Council will not ignore this. Let them come, Taiwan said. We will be ready. And Trademaster, when you report back to the consortium, make sure you tell them something else. Tell them about the 12 colony worlds. Tell them we remember New Harmony, Haven's Gate, Redemption, all of them. Tell them we want our worlds back. Tell them negotiation is possible, but continued occupation is not. The galaxy declared us extinct and stole what was ours. It is time to return it. The Velkari fleet jumped to faster-than-light speed, leaving behind 9 disabled ships and a debris field of destroyed drones. Taiwan watched them go, feeling the tension drain from the command center. Around him, people were cheering, celebrating their first victory. But he felt no joy, only exhaustion and the weight of what came next. They will come back, Daejung said. Not the Velkari, but others. The Council, the species that hold our worlds. Everyone who sees us as a threat. I know, Taiwan said, but we bought time. We showed the galaxy we are not victims. We are survivors, and we are strong enough to defend ourselves. Bora appeared on screen from the diplomatic center. The broadcasts are working. Public opinion is shifting. Some species are calling for the return of human colony worlds. Others are demanding the Council recognize Earth's sovereignty. It is not enough yet, but it is a start. 3 months later, Earth looked different. 5 million people were awake now, with more emerging from cryo-sleep every day. Cities glowed with light across every continent. Factories churned out ships and weapons. Farms were growing real food for the first time in 3 centuries. The planet was coming back to life. Taiwan stood at the rebuilt Seoul spaceport, watching construction drones work on the skyline. The city was rising from its ashes, modern towers growing beside repaired ancient structures. Above, ships moved in orbit, some human, some from species that had chosen to trade rather than fight. Hyunwoo joined him, carrying data pads with reports that never seemed to end. The Drethian Empire is withdrawing from Redemption. They are calling it a goodwill gesture, but really they are scared. Bora is negotiating with them for a peaceful transition. What about the others? Taiwan asked. Mixed. The Velkari are holding New Harmony, but they are talking. Haven's Gate is complicated. The Chitresh who live there now were born there. They do not want to leave. Jisoo thinks we can work out a shared governance system. Taiwan nodded. It would take years, maybe decades, to reclaim everything humanity had lost. But they had time now. They had proven they could defend themselves, and slowly, painfully, the galaxy was accepting that humanity had a right to exist. A colony ship lifted off from the spaceport, its engines roaring as it climbed toward the stars. The first new human colony ship in 300 years heading for Mars.